Hello ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's your boy 3LA and welcome to Boss Rush Island 4. I like to use a pontoon on this island, however there are spots a little bit higher and to the left and a little bit lower and to the right where you could place the MAD instead. I just think that this spot helps out a little bit, but if you don't care too much about getting the perfect score, you can avoid the pontoon. Then I place down Sada and an automatic 0-1-2. This is actually a rare case where automatic is kind of the best targeting because we got stuff we need to kill. Then we get down this Dart Monkey here and place the Dart Monkey on last. I also probably have Sada on strong and make sure to tap box Sada as I'm too lazy to click the ability myself, even though, quite frankly, it doesn't actually matter later. I reuse the tech bot for other stuff. Upgrade your Spike Factory to a 0-2-2 and then save up for the 0-3-2. Of course, Moab Shredder does a ton of Moab damage. It actually does pretty decent balloon cleanup, at least, for these early rounds. It'll be struggling a little bit later, but don't worry about it. You might be scared if a Moab, like in my video, is kind of leaking through. However, the road spikes in the back actually are enough to take it out. But after we get up the 0-3-2, we're going to be going for a 3-1-0 and then a 4-2-0. Wing Monkey, Monkey Ace, and this guy's going to be able to take out the 10th Lych Skull, which is very important because that thing will kill you. There's no real RNG to it, it can just take it out nice and fast. And now we're just going to be spamming down a bunch of 0-3-2s in about the placements I do, right? I like to get them here and then here, right, so that we have a nice line of 3 of them in order to take out the boss both now and later when it's coming back around the bend and we need some more damage before the mad. And then as my 4th one, I actually want to get one right in this area to handle both balloons and also the 20th skull and, etc., probably 50th skull as well. All of those can be handled by just the one 0-3-2. And then I get down another one here and another one to the left. Both of these actually could be placed more to the left, especially if you're behind some. You don't really want it to be perfectly in range of Lych. You can have it a little bit ahead, and that would be more ideal. So, you can go much further to the left than I've been doing, and then this last one is actually pretty decently spaced, so, you can kind of use that as reference. But the last one, I try to get 6 of them in total, right? 6, is it's a magical number? Does it bring you straight to Valhalla? No, I picked 6 because it's the number I felt like, and I didn't die when I used it, alright? You might be a little bit scared. Sometime in the 30s, there's big balloon pushes, and so you can get down a 3-0-2 boomerang and then sell it later if you do feel like it, but it's not necessary. I've done this a bunch and never died. But yeah, finally, at about skull 40 or 39 here, we can afford the XXL trap, who's going to be making us big money and allowing us to afford the MAD. Now, is this placement completely perfect for the whole game for the MAD? Not necessarily, but what I find is this placement right here is one of the best placements, right, because it's not entirely perfect later. However, it's able to get this early damage, which is pretty equally as important. You could argue for the top right of the pontoon instead of the top left of the pontoon, but we're just getting into semantics, and I'm not really big on anti-semanticism, but anyways, yeah, I sell some of the bottom left spike factories that aren't really doing anything anymore. Like this one is not hitting the boss, but the most bottom left one is, so I leave it around for now. And then eventually I afford the mad, and once I get it, I immediately use the ability, and then get down an overclock for it, because the overclock will, of course, be very, very powerful in future abilities. Now we're kind of just chilling here. We're going to be saving up for the middle path tier 5 spike factory, the carpet of spikes, of course. And then once I get it up, I will be tech botting it instead of Sada, because Sada is obviously not doing a lot of damage right now, and getting the ability a couple frames faster might get you a couple of frames faster on the skulls, so hey, why not? Carpet of Spikes is pretty good at clearing out the full map, and the reason we're going to be leaving behind the 4 spike factories on the left side is, not just because of the small amounts of damage that they're doing right now, although that is very nice. It's actually going to be because in the future it's going to be helping out with skulls 70 and 80, and maybe even in the 90s. However, those aren't really helped by anything other than the Dart Paragon. Speaking of Dart Paragon, you can see I got both of my crossbow masters up. I get them up because they have just a massive range and they can hit the boss from all over the place, even though usually you want to go for the Plasma Monkey Fan Club first. These guys just are getting some pops in, which I find to be helpful. I don't believe I get a degree 40. Maybe I do. I kind of forgot I recorded this yesterday. My bad. But yeah, once we get the Plasma Monkey Fan Club, or once we're saving for it, my bad, we can start spamming down a bunch of darts, and you just want to fit as many in the center here, and then just kind of make a line down where the Crossbow Master is, and get your Plasma Master, or Apex, what? Plasma Monkey Fan Club, first try, baby, not even close, and spam everything down into a 032. 032, of course, just gives more range. You could argue for the Pierce to be better for at least some of the dart monkeys, but you know, I like to make things simple and just pretty much always go for a 032 over the 230. Then I'd sell a couple of towers in order to get things, more tower slots, and I go for a glue strike. The glue strike is of course going to be doubling all of our dart monkeys damage, which is very powerful. And so after the green pulse, I use a Plasma Monkey Fan Club ability, and then the glue storm, right? So you can see whenever it does that big green pulse, like it just did now, it is going to be stealing the Plasma Monkey Fan Club boost or the Super Monkey Fan Club boost, because I also get up a Super Monkey Fan Club to use during the downtime. But every time it pulses, it'll be stealing the abilities. So you can see here, I use the abilities, and then, well, actually we got a skull, but if you wait until after the skull, which I recommend for skull 80, you target the MAD down to the bottom left so it can handle it faster. You can see that it's still the abilities because it did the pulse. So now I'm waiting for the pulse. It pulsed, so then after the pulse I can use the ability, use the glue strike, and get a bunch of damage in for my dart monkeys. And it's overall nice, but yeah, as you can see there, it pulsed and I lost it. So we're just going to continue overclocking and then using the MAD ability. And in the 80s, at some point, you're going to need to sell some stuff and get up your Apex Plasma Master, right? Because in the 80s is when these big Moabs become super, super scary. If maybe, you know, you're a little behind in terms of cash, you can sell one of your spike factories in the back. You know, there's still 3 of them, and you can sell it for the tower spot in order to get up something like a Moab glue in order to slow down these big ZOMGs, because they get just very scary. Oh, I actually do go for a relentless glue here because I am personally scared of this BFB right here. Sometimes you might have to target the MAD close to it, but just be warned that if you're not targeting the MAD right about here, you might fall behind on future BFBs as well, and that causes an even bigger problem. You can see 87, I'm kind of scared here because I've died before, but I've never died once I got the glue. Anyways, I sell my spike factories, sell the MAD, just pretty much sell everything in order to get up an Apex Plasma Master. It's degree 31, so, you know, the Plasma Monkey Fan Club helped to get some degrees, but not too many. And once you get that guy up, you are going to spam down as many 204 boomerangs as you humanly can, because at skull 90, and for all the skulls in the 90s, they are very important, because otherwise you will die. And then you're going to want to pretty quickly also get up a super glue and just keep on spamming a couple more boomers. Now, I actually made a rookie mistake here. After I was done spamming the boomerangs, what we really should do is get down a permaspike in the opposite lane. So not the lane where the Apex Plasma Master is, but the other lane. I get it up at the end just to show like how we could prevent a death, but I ended up dying on round 108 because of the round 106 DDTs, and then naturally in my next run after this, I made the exact same mistake. So right here, I'd recommend please just get up a permaspike right under where my current glue strike is. I don't know why I have the glue strike, I'm not even using the ability, but yeah, I'd recommend that. And then with the rest of your money, after you get the permaspike, you can get up a degree 64 Orca and upgrade it to a Megalodon. I do believe that the Meg is very worth it, at least for stunning these Moabs here. As you can see, look, it's going to grab the Moab. Well, it doesn't really grab many of the Moabs, but it grabbed one of them, and I was able to, through all of these boomerangs and through the super glue and the luck, I guess, you know, you're not always going to be able to get past round 100. That's a very scary round, but you can sometimes do it. But yeah, the Orca helped maybe a little bit. You might actually be better off getting like just 4 Orcas up, not merging them, and setting them all to close or last or first or something, and just hoping that one of them will land on to the Moabs. That's kind of up to you. And please get the permaspike now. It's paining me to watch this as I watch all these DDTs, and I'm like, is this okay? Well, it seems fine because the plasma balls are hitting around, but that's just, it's luck, right? You shouldn't be relying on RNG to save your life, because then you're going to die. Right here, I paused to try to save myself, and it's too late. Get up this permaspike before you die. If this video helped you out, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and use code YOBOY, that's YOBOY, in the BTD6 shop. All the money will be going to the Circumference Foundation in the name of Technoblade for the next month until the end of June, because, he died on June 30th, so it seems important. Kind of sped that up at the end, but, whatever. See you later. See you next time. Peace out. Bye. Love y'all. Bye.